Hello, it's Adriana from Tasty Pastry Kitchen. Today we're going to be making chocolate peanut butter pops in bunny shapes. This is a peanut butter cup on a stick. They are huge, as you can see when my daughter is holding them, but I have yet to get one complaint since they are insanely tasty and they're super cute. Yeah, that peanut butter filling, you could probably eat it on its own, but when you pair it with chocolate, it probably creates the most divine dessert pairing in all of the dessert universe. I use both milk chocolate and dark chocolate for these, but really you can use any kind of chocolate that you like. So these are going to follow the same format as making CAKESICLES, which are essentially the same thing except cake inside. So even if they're not technically called CAKESICLES, you'll hear me calling them CAKESICLES since I kind of classify all these desserts on a stick as CAKESICLES. So to make these bunny CAKESICLES, you're going to need a special mold. It's in the shape of a bunny. So I got this one off of Amazon. I'll list it down below so you can see which one it is. And it's the bendy, silicone type of mold that has the popsicle hole on the bottom. Just make sure that the popsicle holes are there and that they're nice and loose so you can put the stick in. These also come with a neat cover, so we're going to try that out for these CAKESICLES. Okay, so to make the peanut butter filling, you're going to need peanut butter, and I like the crunchy kind, powdered sugar, some room temperature butter, a little bit of vanilla and water, and some salt, which I forgot to put out here. And then to coat the CAKESICLES, you're going to need chocolate, of course. I'm using my favorite Trader Joe's brand. I'm going to also use milk chocolate later on in the video, so you can use whatever you like. Let's make the peanut butter filling first. Add your peanut butter to a mixing bowl and then add your room temperature butter. Mix this on medium speed until it's fully combined. Add the powdered sugar to the peanut butter. Mix it until that's combined, and it will seem a bit dry and crumbly at this point, and that's totally normal. After we add the liquid, the vanilla and the water, it'll come together a little better. So the texture that we're going for is similar to a Reese's peanut butter cup. You want that really kind of soft filling, but not too dry and crumbly, but kind of like oily. So add the vanilla and then kind of feel it, and then add water if you need it to kind of make it a little more sticky. At any point during this process, you can give it a taste and see if you like it. Add more sugar if you want it more sweet. I like mine kind of salty, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt. To prepare the chocolate coating, separate your chocolate into two bowls, one that contains 70% by weight and the other one 30%. Microwave the big bowl or 70% bowl of chocolate at 50% power at 30-second bursts until it's completely melted. These particular molds that I'm using need about 100 to 110 grams of chocolate for 3 CAKESICLES at a time, so I have total 110 grams of chocolate. When your big bowl is completely melted, add the chocolates from the smaller bowl and mix until that is completely melted. Pour about 1.5 tablespoons of melted chocolate into each CAKESICLE cavity. Then I like to take a paintbrush and push the chocolate all around, making sure I cover the bottom and then brush up the sides. Tap the mold to settle the chocolate into the crevices of the mold. Some chocolate will run down the sides and might be bare, but that's totally fine because we're gonna give it a second coating in a little bit. Add some popsicle sticks, which if you didn't loosen up these holes before you started, it might be difficult. Just keep trying to push them in. These molds weren't really cut precisely. Weigh the sticks down so they dry straight. Then what I like to do is go back and check my handiwork around the base of the CAKESICLE, make sure that there's good coverage with the chocolate. Otherwise, when you take the CAKESICLE out of the mold, it won't be firm enough to pull out in one piece. Stick these in the fridge for about 10 minutes or until they're pretty firm. Okay, once they come out is when we do that second coating I was talking about. We want to reinforce the sides with extra chocolate. So take the paintbrush, paint the sides and the corners and that area around the stick once more. You want it to be fairly stable around the sides, because if you don't, when you take the CAKESICLE out of the mold, it's going to fall apart. So make sure that you have good reinforcement around those areas. And it should firm up pretty quickly because your mold is already cold from the fridge. Now take some of that yummy peanut butter filling that you've probably been snacking on and fill your molds. Start by filling underneath the stick and kind of tucking the filling underneath, and that'll provide stability so when you push down on the filling, it's not gonna crack the chocolate base. Then you kind of work your way out from there. So underneath the stick, and then filling the sides around the stick, then fill to the top, and then go almost completely full to the top and as flat as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna flood the surface with more chocolate, and that's what's gonna create a nice flat back. So don't worry about if it's kind of lumpy bumpy inside. Continue filling your other CAKESICLES, and then what you wanna do is take your melted chocolate and pour it over the remainder of the backs of the CAKESICLES. Tap the mold to let the chocolate fill in the backs, and if you don't have enough, you can just add a little more until it's completely covered. Then use an offset spatula to do the most oddly satisfying thing, which is to scrape off the extra chocolate, which you can save for other baking projects. I'm covering my molds with the cover that came with this kit, but if you're a good scraper, these will already come out pretty flat. However, if you want to use this cover, you have to make sure that you completely have contact with the chocolate, unlike what I'm showing here. That way you're going to have a flat surface. So pop these in the fridge until they're completely firm. I like to wait at least 25 minutes for this part. Once they're completely firm, peel the cover off if you are using it. Now the easiest way to remove CAKESICLES from a mold is to peel the mold away from the CAKESICLE. And then what you're going to want to do is push the stick up and kind of wiggle it out of its slot, and that'll allow you to pull the CAKESICLE out. This is one of the main advantages that we use silicone with food, is that we can bend it and kind of manipulate it so we can get the dessert out in perfect shape and not really care about the mold. Okay, so go ahead and repeat this with the other CAKESICLE pops and set them aside. So these CAKESICLES are super cute on their own, but I thought I'd work on some fondant skills in the meantime. I just colored pieces of white fondant with some gel food coloring and rolled them into little decorations for the bunny faces. I tried to do some cute bows for my daughter's bunnies and some bespeckled ones for my son, but you can really get creative with these and do whatever you like. Or you can just leave them plain, they look great. So here they are, chocolate peanut butter pops. I really prefer the dark chocolate one, so I'm gonna try that one first. And it's really delicious. The peanut butter filling is salty, sweet, and the dark chocolate, it's the most amazing combination. It has to be my favorite dessert combination. The one drawback with these is that they are huge, like eating 4 peanut butter cups, which now that I think about it is probably the proper serving of peanut butter cups. But anyways, the full recipe is on my blog at Tasty Pastry Kitchen, along with a complete guide that I just wrote about making any type of CAKESICLE that you want. So go ahead and check that out, Tasty Pastry Kitchen, and see you next time.